Welcome to the Queer Compass. I'm Luis.
I'm Eric, and we're your two gay besties.
And we're here to talk about lifestyle, career, pop culture,
and everything else.
Oh my God. Nailed it. Okay, well, first, I just want to say that I had to wear this shirt today. It's a very cute little gift that actually Alexis got me for my birthday.
Cute.
And it says the Cool Tios Club, so the Cool Uncles Club. And she got it for me, obviously, because my sister had the baby recently around my birthday. So I thought it was the cutest thing. It says it on the back, too, in like bigger letters.
Okay.
But it's like a little smile. Also, like 2 days after I got it, I was walking around, I think it was the mall or something, and I saw someone else with a hoodie that said the Cool Uncles Club. And it was the same brand. And
so it's a brand.
It's a brand. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize it was a brand. I thought she just got the shirt. But anyways.
Oh my God, that's so fun.
I thought it was so cute.
I need one for me.
Yes, I know, really. So I was like, I need to get you one.
Oh my God, that's so cute. I love it. Cool Tios Club.
I know.
Cute.
Oh my gosh.
Have you seen Dune yet?
I have not. But I've heard such good things.
It's very good. It's long. It's very good. It was like action packed. The story advances a lot in this one movie. I bought the book. I was like so obsessed with it. I bought the book of the first one. It's like 700 pages. Yes. So it arrived today.
Because it's the second movie, right?
This is the second movie.
Okay.
And then I was like, oh my God, I can't wait for the third movie. I just want to buy the third book.
Yeah.
That doesn't really work because like there's differences between the books and the movies that I see. People were talking about online.
So like even if you read the third book, it might be different. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So like some of the character plot points are kind of swapped and different, male, female. They suggested like starting with the first book. I bought the first book. It's like 700 pages.
Oh my gosh. Work.
I know. I'm so excited.
That's exciting though. That's like inspiring me only because my sister has been getting me recently to get into Fourth Wing. And I like it's a whole series as well. And it's kind of like a Divergent meets Hunger Games type of vibe is what I'm getting so far.
Okay.
I'm only a couple chapters in, but like so far it's really good.
Oh my gosh. Is that the series that's like been on the top selling charts for like weeks and weeks and months? Yeah, it's been really, really popular. Yeah. That and I feel like ACOTAR or A Court of Thorns and Roses is like those two series I've been hearing so much about on like in the book world, I guess, you know? Yeah.
So yeah. So I'm excited to dive into this one. It seems really cool.
I've never been into reading.
No,
like reading was like not part of I'm like good at math and science, you know, but like
I'm not.
But language arts is like really struggled.
Oh, okay.
So like because I'm so into this, I'm like I'm gonna have to do some reading.
Yeah, I have to do it.
Yeah.
Wait, that's cool though. That's a kind of nice dive into it.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
I'm the opposite. I was never really not never good, but it was not my thing. Like math and science were not my favorites. Like I loved creative writing. I loved language arts. Like I took like AP Lit, and my teacher was the teacher that like everyone kind of was like scared to have because she was so hard and she was so like it was a push, you know what I mean? But she was like my favorite teacher.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
She like wrote me a letter of recommendation for college and everything, and I loved her.
Isn't that how it goes? Like the hardest teachers are the ones you like appreciate the most later. You're like, oh, thank God they pushed 100%. Me so hard. Like,
yeah, like I worked so hard in that class, and I'm so like I loved it. Okay, on a different note, on the music side of things, Eternal Sunshine, Miss Ariana Grande.
Yes.
The way I've been listening to it nonstop is ridiculous.
Yes.
I was joking with my friends one of my friends because I was in the like top 0.2% of Ariana listeners like a couple years in a row on Spotify, you know? And this last year, I was not. Like she was like maybe my second or third like top artist or whatever.
Okay.
And I was like, it's because Positions came out so long ago. No, but I was like, just watch it change this year because I really do like that album.
I can listen all the way through. It's kind of a bedroom pop album.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what it is. It's not super like, I don't know. At first, it didn't feel like there was like the big hitters. Yeah. But at the same time, that's kind of what I like about it. Especially, I feel like I really did enjoy Positions. Like it does have that more like R&B vibe to it.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is kind of still on that like kind of mellow chill, like you said, like a bedroom, you know, kind of album. So I like that a lot.
I have a prediction.
Okay, what is it?
I was like watching her interview with Apple is it Zane Lowe and those two guys? Those two music guys that always do the music interviews, whoever they are.
The one where she's like in the red.
Yeah, she's in the red. They're in a warehouse, and then she did another one with the Apple guy, who's like kind of like really super short hair, maybe balding, whatever his name is. So these two dudes, I watched those two all the way through, and I was like, it doesn't seem like she'll tour this album, but she's so into Wicked right now.
Yeah,
and it's something she wanted so bad that I think maybe this album will get a skip on the tour, or maybe some like really exclusive special performances, and then the next tour will include songs from both albums.
Well, that's kind of what she did with Sweetener.
Yeah,
because Sweetener came out, and then Thank You Next came out, and it was kind of majority Thank You Next, but she called it the Sweetener tour.
They were like back to back. It was like 6 or 7 months apart, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really close.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if like, because right now she's very in the Wicked game, right? And apparently it's going to be a 2-part, right? Like they're cutting it down or cutting it in half, I guess.
She did great on SNL too. Did you watch those performances?
I did see.
Did you watch her performance with Bo and Yang?
Yeah. Oh my God. That was so funny.
Have you seen Moulin Rouge?
Yeah. Like I knew the reference, but I don't know the whole, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh my God. So funny.
Oh, that's cool though.
Okay. Something else I learned this week.
Yeah.
Before malls existed, catalog shopping was popular. Like, when did catalogs start? Okay, catalogs started in 1970 and they were popular for like 100 years. And that was like the primary way of getting things. Like, there were Sears and like some department stores, but there were no malls. You didn't go to a boutique down the street like to get something. I talked to my mom about it. I was like, what did you do before the 80s, before malls were popularized? She's like, we made all of our clothes. And I was like, so everyone's mom was a seamstress? And she goes, everyone's mom was a seamstress, and so were all of us. All of her friends sewed their own clothes.
That's crazy.
I think she said they would buy like socks and t-shirts, but like skirts, jackets, everything they would wear, they would make. And they'd pass around patterns and like...
That's actually really crazy. Imagine if we still did that.
We do. I mean, we don't make our clothes.
Right.
But Amazon is the same thing. It's like a digital catalog with 2-day shipping. Yeah. So like super efficient. But it's the same thing. You like mail in your money.
Yeah.
They ship it in the mail.
It's like we're back to that original. I feel like when malls came out, like I was even victim to it, or like guilty of it, when I would say like, oh, I don't know about online shopping because like I like seeing it in person. I like seeing how it feels, blah, blah, but they've made it so easy to like return and exchange that like now it is so easy to just order it online.
One of my mom's best friends, her son just got married. She ordered 48 dresses on the internet and mailed 47 of them back.
That is crazy.
And she was like, I don't even know where to go to buy a dress anymore. Yeah. Like, where do you go to buy like a fancy dress in St. Louis, Missouri?
Well, and that, you know? And that's the crazy thing, because even, I mean, everywhere, it's like malls and brick and mortar stores are like closing down everywhere, like big companies, right? Because it's just not bringing in the foot traffic or the revenue that they want anymore. Yeah. It's like not worth it. Or even anytime I do go in person to like most store or like, you know, like Zara or whatever it is, like a lot of stuff they just don't have in store. Right. It's all online. They're like, oh, you can order it online, or like they only have one size in store, or like, you know, so a lot of it just isn't available in person anymore. A lot of the brick and mortar stores that do exist have like a mad online game running, including restaurants. That like when I sit at Galanga down the street, that I would say 90% of the food that comes out of the kitchen is a to-go order. Yeah. And 10% is for like in restaurant. Which is crazy, because then it brings up kind of the idea of like, I mean, we are still social beings, I guess, you know, and we're being social, but at the same time, it's like, it's so much easier to not go out anymore. Yeah. I guess people are getting together, let's say at a friend's home, and ordering food too. So there's that, or like family homes or whatever. Because I know I do that sometimes, but yeah, it is interesting to see how, as it gets more and more convenient, are we going to be more tempted to just stay home and have everything come to us? Oh my gosh. So this week we put a poll on Instagram. We did. For our listeners. We did. I'm listeners, so excited we are here. We are listening. Okay.
And we asked people to submit anonymously. We use like an anonymous function.
Yeah.
So people could like say whatever they wanted to say. So we don't know who they are.
Yeah.
Nobody revealed who they were either.
I know.
I was like, oh, somebody will be like, oh, from da-da-da. No one did that.
Yeah, I thought maybe like somebody would be like, oh, I want my question to be like, but
yeah,
it's okay. That's what it's for.
So funny. So I want to go through, let's go through some of these
I have them right here.
questions together.
Right.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. There's some fun ones in here.
Yes.
Should I start?
You should start.
Okay, great. First one. This is a really good one. How do you not let mean people get to you?
Ooh.
I know. And not to say it doesn't matter who asked it, but when you get the question, you're like, wow, I wonder like what perspective this is coming from. It could come from any age. You know what I mean? Like it could really come from any age, any point, any career, anything really, because I feel like unfortunately, we do come across that at various points in our life. One thing for me, the first thing that came to mind is the reminder and the support system that I have around me. So when I think about like, we're all going to encounter people who maybe just don't share the same perspective or values or whatever it is. And, maybe put that energy towards us. I think one important thing to remember is that you do have people in your circle, or to remember the people that do have your back. I also think a lot of times what helps me is that to remember that is sometimes coming from a place of hurt, or I guess hurt is the best way to put it, from something that person is dealing with. So sometimes it gets taken out on you, which I'm not saying that makes it okay, but sometimes it is that reminder of like, I don't need to hold on to that. I don't need to take it personally, because that's something that they have to work through.
Yeah.
And I think that definitely helps kind of, allow you to just move on with the things that are important to you. This
happened to me the other day at the gym. I walked up to a piece of equipment, sat down to start using it, switched the thing, I had my headphones on, but I used transparency mode because I'm like, I want to know what's going on around me.
Yeah.
Dude walks up to me. He's like, oh man, starts to kind of like raise his voice to me. I just cleaned this and you sat down. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And then he's like, well, and he kind of like continued on. I literally just like turned and I walked away, and he goes, thank you. And I turned and I looked at him, and then I turned and I walked away. I was like,
side eye.
I'm like, it's 5:30. Yeah. We are all tired.
Right.
And I thought about it all day. And I was like, I wish I had such easier time releasing. I was like, did I do something wrong? He didn't even leave a water bottle or towel. I was like, I really don't think I did anything wrong, but maybe I did. Like constantly second guessing myself. And I'm like, no, that was from him to me.
Yeah.
So like, I don't need to continue thinking about it.
Yeah.
I can literally just like deflect that entire interaction because that was him. It's weird. Sometimes the bigger stuff I have an easier time processing, and sometimes this like little shit will get in my mind and like not be able to get out.
I fully 100% agree with you. And like I think sometimes it's kind of that idea of like sometimes the bigger blow up is easier to let go of because it's so clear as to why that happened or whatever. But when it's such a small, minute interaction, I personally find myself thinking like, okay, well, what did I do in that like what you were saying, like, did I do something in that situation to set that off? But at the same time, I'm like, I get into this cycle of like, well, why did they react that way? I'm like, what was it about the situation that made them react? And it's things that are sometimes, I think, out of my control. Like, for instance, you having sat down, not knowing at all that he even had cleaned the thing. That was out of your control. Like, it was an empty machine when you got there.
Yeah.
But for some reason, you're like, I can't put the piece together.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it gets stuck in our head so much.
Maybe.
I don't know. At least that's how I feel, because then I'm trying to solve the problem all day long, but it's like, it's not my problem to solve.
Right.
You know? It's easy to let like comments stick with you. And it's easy to, get wrapped up in those comments. But again, I think it sounds silly, but it's kind of that whole idea of affirmations, of like telling yourself like, this one comment does not define me. Like, there are so many other things that I bring to the table, and like remembering your strengths and remembering, again, I go back to the community and the support system, because like those people, hopefully, I would hope that if they're in your circle and your support system, are going to be a reminder of the things that you bring to the table as well. You know, like I know my best friends and my family and like those people are going to kind of like, when you do excel in something or have a moment of success or whatever it is, they're going to celebrate you.
Yeah.
They're going to support you and they're going to be so proud of you, and vice versa, right? Like I'm like that with my friends, so, and with my family. So I think that should be the reminder in itself that like this one comment from maybe someone you don't even really know does not weigh as much as everything else.
Getting more practice. I think I definitely more practice at like just like releasing.
It's easier said than done.
Oh my God.
100%.
Yeah.
I can sit here and preach all day, but yeah, those can be hard. Those little moments.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question that we got was best new duo single, Houdini or Training Season.
Okay. Yes. Both are bops. Okay. I just want to say off the bat. Do you have one in mind?
I prefer Training Season. I liked Houdini when it came out, and I love all the dancing in the music video.
Yeah.
I like the song Training Season, and I find myself queuing it up way more often than Houdini.
Me too. Okay, when she came out with Houdini, I was like, work, she is dancing more. She's like doing the thing, like performance, right? Like choreography, awesome. It is very catchy. Like off the bat, you know? I come and I go, you know, like it's super catchy. But when Training Seasons came out, I was like, oh, this is it.
Yeah.
This is it, 100%.
And watching her perform it is really great.
Yeah.
Yeah, she likes it too.
Yeah, totally.
And I'm like, I'm into this.
I know. Okay, Training Seasons for the win.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. The next question. Oh, actually, the next one is a confession. Okay.
Oh,
so,
shoot.
I know. Oh, shoot. My secret confession is that I won $1 million on a scratch card 2 weeks ago, and I haven't told a single person. I have it hidden somewhere safe until I figure out what to do. I know the second I tell my friends and family, everything is going to change, and I don't want it to. What do I do? Also, this is real, you guys. Like when I read this, I was like,
wait,
no
does it
way.
say lottery or scratcher's ticket?
It says scratch card.
Scratch card?
Yeah, scratch card. $1 million on a scratch card.
Okay, first of all, that's one of them $20 scratch cards.
That's what I'm saying.
Because the $5 scratch cards, you don't win $1 million. You win like 100,000.
So you pay like $20 for a
somebody.
scratch card?
Yeah, so somebody paid for one of them Big Daddies. You know, the long ones.
Okay, I don't really buy them that much, so I only know that. I don't know how it works. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, that is wild.
Okay.
Hidden somewhere safe, so they have it in a bank.
Hidden somewhere safe until I figure out what to do. I know the second I tell my family, my friends and family, everything is going to change and I don't want it to. What do I do? I fully agree with, like, I understand that, because if I was in that position, I know that it would change in a heartbeat. No matter how much, you know.
Yeah. I think past a certain threshold, you have to, I think part of the rules of lottery, you have to like announce your name.
Okay.
But
do we know what that amount is?
I don't know if I know the amount.
Yeah.
But I do know that like it's not easy to stay anonymous when you win kind of the big numbers.
Okay.
But I think I would do the same thing. Yeah. I would like stay super quiet, maybe tell my parents, but really I would just keep it to myself.
I agree with you. I would find a way to maybe invest or, you know, put it somewhere that would be the best case scenario.
Yeah.
You know, it definitely would help, obviously, and all that. But yeah, I think I would probably also keep it very hush for a while. Because also, that's your business, what you want to do with that money, you know?
Right.
And who you want to tell. I want to look up this amount.
What does the internet say? Does it say?
It says, for example, in California, where a winner has yet to come forward to claim a Powerball ticket worth $2 billion sold in November, disclosure laws require the California lottery to share the winner's full name and where they bought the ticket. So that's $2 billion, but I don't know if that's the
threshold.
The threshold.
Okay.
Those winners in Florida can't remain anonymous either. Those who win $250,000 or more are temporarily exempt from public disclosure for 90 days after claiming their prize. But it seems like after that, you would have to... $250,000. That's
not that much. I mean, to reveal your name.
But I guess it varies by state then?
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Wow, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Congratulations to one of our 11 listeners.
No, I'm kidding. I'm like, congratulations. And are we best friends or what? No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding. You do what you want with that money.
Baller.
You take care of yourself first. Like... That's really, I feel like, what it is. Like, you take care of yourself first, figure out what to do with that money, and then you can decide who you want to tell.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Congratulations. That's absolutely amazing.
No, yeah, that's amazing.
How exciting. Can you imagine scratching something like instantly life-changing amount of money? That's so great.
That's like one of those, I feel like that's a blessing from the universe. And like, I think that's just something, no matter where you are in your life, because obviously we don't know who this person is, but like, this is a moment to just kind of like, I know it can be stressful, but also sit in the gratitude and I feel like the universe had some reason to gift you this. So like, you did something, whether it's good karma or whatever it is, like, I don't know, just kind of sit in that moment and be, I don't want to say grateful, but like also just like be happy that this happened, because that does not happen to how many people does this happen to?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's a pretty amazing thing.
I'm about to go buy a Powerball ticket right now.
I know. I'm about to go to get a scratch card. Excuse me. Like, what? You said $20?
Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God.
Okay.
The next question that we received was, where do you feel most comfortable vacationing specifically for LGBTQ folks?
That's a good one.
Do you have a spot in mind?
You go first if you want.
I can go first.
I feel like you got one.
I'm going to give a couple of options that are kind of like sprinkled across the country. Again, remember, I'm a local vacationer.
I love it. No, I love it.
I did find New Orleans quite warm and inviting.
Cool.
Especially there's like a small little gay area with some gay bars there, but also just like because everyone's kind of out and having a good time, people really were friendly. San Francisco, I find very warm and welcoming, super gay centric.
Super.
A lot of very friendly people. And then I have to say, I do love West Hollywood. I love living here. I know not everybody loves West Hollywood as much as I do, but I do find that like people who do come to visit me end up liking it too. So yeah, I would say those are probably my three like domestic spots.
Yes, I will say, like, kind of to agree with you on those locations. Like San Francisco, I moved there right after high school, and I knew that it was a very, queer-friendly city, but it really, really felt like a community.
Yeah.
And it just felt like the whole city. I think because I say this kind of a lot when I look back at San Francisco, the city in itself is not that big. It's 7 by 7 miles, So it does really feel like, in general, the city is like one whole community. When something happens around the city, it's like happening everywhere because it's generally pretty easy to access. That very much was a very open city that I felt super comfortable being myself in general. And I agree with West Hollywood too, because, I know that a lot of metropolitan cities have their queer or areas, districts, neighborhoods, but I do feel like West Hollywood, I know sometimes it gets not the best rap or whatever, but I do think that it is somewhere where you can just like walk around and feel the openness and the acceptance in there, Whereas I still feel like in certain maybe other big cities, you feel like you still have to kind of hold on to some other elements, for lack of better terms. I hope I'm explaining that right. But yeah, I do feel like West Hollywood is very, very open, very expressive, maybe because it's also very like entertainment and artistic and all that stuff, like driven.
Yeah.
I going to Europe recently as a young adult, Paris definitely has its like queer friendly neighborhood. And I thought that was very cool. I think maybe also because Paris is very like fashion and artistic and all that stuff. Maybe that's also why I was just pleasantly surprised at the community that was out there. And then and London too, of course. London is also has its moments. I actually went to like a big event that was very queer centric because one of my best friends out there is queer, and like that was kind of a lot of the community that we were in, and that was really, really cool to see as well.
Yeah.
I definitely think there are parts around there, like just everywhere that you can go. Obviously not everywhere, but in Europe specifically. And then even like, when I went to Thailand, I was younger-ish. I was young adult, but I do feel like out there it is such a big part of their culture as well. So I feel like that was kind of a fun one to go to and see.
When you lived in Japan, did you feel like there was like a queer
So yes, there is a district there, but I don't know. I mean, obviously it wasn't as big as like here, you know, but there definitely was a queer district, and I never felt unsafe there.
Okay.
Yeah, so we would go out there pretty often. That was also a fun one too. I just felt like it still kind of was a little quieter than here. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Okay, next question.
Yes.
Okay, this one is, how late is too late to cancel a plan with somebody?
Oh my God. This is such a great one.
Yes, because I feel like I've been on both ends.
What, sitting at home and hoping someone else cancels?
No. Just like, I think like where you feel bad, where you're like, oh my God, is it too late? And also when somebody cancels on you and it's very late in the game.
I feel like, do you have a time in mind?
You go first.
Okay.
I have to think about it.
I feel like 4 hours prior is the cutoff. And if you make plans to meet with someone in that 4-hour window, you're fully committed and you cannot cancel.
Wait, okay. But how far in advance did you make these plans? You know what I'm saying? I think for me, it depends like what is the plan and how far in advance did we make the plan? Because if it's like, are we talking like we're going to go get dinner? Are we talking like we're doing a weekend trip? Or are we talking like we're going to a concert? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I feel like travel, ticketed events. I don't feel like you can cancel that. I feel like you're fully committed. You're locked in.
Yeah.
If something happens catastrophic to a family member, I would say, hey, I can't go. Or
yeah.
But if it's like, hey, let's get together for dinner on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Hey, let's watch a movie at your house, not ticketed event at AMC at 8 p.m. on Thursday. I feel like 4 hours prior is a respectful amount of time to be like, hey, it turns out I'm not feeling well, or hey, it turns out I'm not having the energy to do this. This has been a really tough day at work.
Yeah.
I can't come.
Yeah.
I feel like 4 hours. I feel like if you wait to 2 hours prior, it's too late.
I agree with that. I mean, to be honest, I think even like if it was like noon and my plans were at 4, I would still feel bad canceling. So like I would try, like, let's say I had a 5 p.m. dinner plan with somebody. If I was going to cancel last minute, like for whatever reason, I would probably try and do it that morning.
Yeah.
You know, like early that morning. I would like to do it the day before.
Yes.
Like, or the night before, and be like, hey, tomorrow I just can't do it. You know, because like I wouldn't want somebody, like I wouldn't want to be like waking up, starting my day thinking I have this plan and I'm like getting all these things done or whatever else is going on in the day. And then like a couple hours before, I'm like, oh, well, I just rushed to do all this stuff, whatever it is. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, and I'm not saying I'm mad about it, because I'm generally not, I feel, if it's something small like that. But as someone who, if I was on the other side, I would try and do it the night before or early that morning.
Yeah. If someone cancels on you, whether you're upset or not, what is your presentation to them? How do you present?
I do feel like I feel like I'm too nice sometimes. So I'm just going to be like, it's fine, no big deal. Because at the end of the day, it is fine and it's no big deal. But I think it would be more annoying if like it was a repeated thing. Like if somebody was constantly like canceling.
Yeah.
Then I'd be like, okay, I'm probably just not going to make plans because like this is too much. Listen, if it happens like once or twice, like I'm not really pressed about it.
Right.
But if it happens multiple times, then I'm going to start to get like, you know, kind of curious.
I usually respond like, if it's not a big deal to me, I'm like, hey, no big deal, life happens, so we'll connect a different time or whatever. Something that really taught me how to like let that stuff not get to me is like, I am friends with someone who is notorious for canceling, and so like I kind of have like exposure to it. But I do tend to like to surround myself with friends and people who don't cancel, like people you can count on. You know,
of course,
that always feels good.
Oh, for sure. And yeah, I get it. Like, again, I get that. I think that's also maybe why it doesn't usually bother me if that happens, because like the people that I do surround myself with, I feel, are generally reliable people, so that like when and if that happens, I know that it's not out of like, you know, out of any reason other than like something really came up, or they need a moment or whatever it is.
Sure.
Because I'm also here for a self like care day. If you need a moment, if you've been going through it and you just cannot meet for lunch, like say no, take care of yourself, like do your thing. You know, like absolutely 100% support that.
Last question.
Okay.
What is something that comes harder to you than it does for most others?
Oh God, this is a thinker.
This is a thinker.
Do you have one in mind?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Reading.
Oh, okay. Okay,
reading
that's good.
is
Yeah.
I remember learning to read in first, second grade coming up, and I wasn't connecting with it. I was like always busy with Legos and Connects and like math and really excelling over there. And so like I just didn't love language arts and reading. I just was never good at it. I can read something and then I have to like, oh my God, I have to read that whole page again. It didn't stick. Like
that's a good one. I get it. Well, hey, you're on this new journey now.
I know, right? Sci-fi. Who would have thought? I don't even like Star Wars. Like, and here I am.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, you were saying that you weren't really like a sci-fi person, right?
No, like Star Wars doesn't appeal to me. I know it's like a super unpopular opinion.
No, I get it.
Lord of the Rings never really captured me. Harry Potter was like fine.
Oh, that's the one that did get me.
Is it the one?
Yeah, Harry Potter did get me when I was younger. But I also never got into Star Wars or Lord of the Rings. I remember my dad and I tried watching Lord of the Rings one time. And I think it was just very long and it wasn't our like usual, I don't know, movie genre.
Yeah.
That we didn't even make it through. I think we either both fell asleep or we got over it. I don't remember. But yeah, those never really. And I know that they're like masterpieces in the cinema world. Like I respect and appreciate that, but it just was not my thing growing up.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, Harry Potter was. I just think the whole idea of like this magic school and all that stuff, like I really just wanted to be a wizard when I was younger. So that one really did get me. But I agree with you. Like even Dune, I feel like I have to watch it because I've heard that it's really well done, but I am not generally, that's not the type of movie I generally go for.
Same. Brandon was like, you have to watch this, and I watched it and it totally the first one captured me, and the second one I'm like, oh my God, what happens next?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I really don't know. I mean, not to say that I don't have things that are, I'm not the only one who struggles with this, but I think it's like staying seated and focused for long periods of time.
Yeah.
Because even when I was at my corporate job, like back in the day, and I think this is something I always knew. Like I always told myself when I was little that I wanted to be like outside as much as possible or active as much as possible. Like I do remember telling myself that when I was little. I was also horrible at video games because I could not sit down for that long. But even then, I guess it kind of relates to like your reading thing, but where you're saying like you're sitting there and things just don't process sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Where like I did feel like sometimes in that setting where I was like at my desk for hours trying to get things done, I felt like I would be looking at the same thing for hours and I'd be like, okay, I need to focus and I need to get started on it. And then I felt like it would take me so long to do certain things, or at least longer than I felt like it should have taken me.
Mm-hmm.
So I just was somebody who needed to like get up and like walk around for a little bit and then come back. And that's not to say that I don't enjoy, like sometimes I do really enjoy the environment of like studying and being in the zone. And when I really get into something that I like and that I'm into, then I can definitely do it. But I do feel like I struggle just having that still moment sometimes, which I think is why I like the profession I'm in. Because I like go teach class, I come back, I do work for a couple hours, I go do this, I go do that. I'm like running around the city, I'm like doing all this stuff. But at the same time, I'm like, that is so much time that I'm using traveling around, you know?
Yeah. I do have a challenge for you, and I hope you don't mind me saying.
No, not at all. Go. Tell me.
When rating something on a scale from 1 to 10, giving only 10s to the things that actually truly are 100%.
Okay.
And I'm talking about like Galanga or a Thai restaurant. Like, I don't want it to sound like I think people should be more critical. I know what dancers you admire.
Yeah.
And I know how excellent they are at dancing. And like, I kind of feel that way about like food and music. Like,
yeah.
If I'm recommending something to someone, it is because I think it is top tier quality. Yeah. And if it isn't, I'm not recommending it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I do agree with you. I do think that I am somebody who I just, in general, I like to be like, yeah, everything's great. like I remember when you told me like, okay, when you tell me like when we were talking about food and you're like, okay, you're only going to say it's a 10 if it's like, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh, that's really good because I would have just been like, it's great. You know,
Yeah.
like, it's good. Yeah. But so I do agree with you. I do want to strive to do that more.
Yes.
Yes.
When I give a 10 for again with the Thai example, when I give a 10, there are only 2 restaurants, Thai restaurants, that get a 10 in my mind. Everything else is lower than that.
Wait, Galanga?
And then there was a place that closed. It was called So Long Hai downtown. Oh, no. It was my absolute favorite.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, those 2. And then every other Thai food that I've had, like even if it's very good, but just not as good as Galanga, I'm giving it a 9.
Okay.
Because really, the 10 spot there. Ideally, I would like to have 1 in 10. The 10 spot, but I do some wiggle room. Yeah. You can have 2.
We should go to that place that I went to with Danielle and Ryan.
Oh yeah, in Beverly Hills.
Yes. Oh my god, I have to remember the name of it. I'll find it.
With an A.
I'm gonna give it a 9.
Yeah,
but it was really good. It was really good. I liked it a lot. So we should definitely
repeatable.
Oh, for sure. I would go back. Okay. Yes, 100%. Very good. But yeah, that's a. I like that one.
Okay, so before we go though, I do want to know if we flipped that question. What's something that comes easier to you than it does for most others? You can go first, but I was going to say creativity. I think comes easier for both of us than most people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say critical thinking, but like logically problem solving something.
Yeah. Yeah. I do feel like, yes, that does for you. You're very, which I admire and like appreciate a lot.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. I feel like you're very, yes, logical is the best way to put it, but also very kind of point blank and, okay, well, this is the problem. This is how we solve it. Let's make it happen. Yeah. And you're like quick to do it.
Okay.
Which I love. So that's awesome.
Thanks.
Sorry, continue. I didn't mean
I think those are my things.
Okay. I definitely agree. Creativity is one. It's funny because that's like, that's what we essentially do in a day-to-day in both of our careers, you know? So I kind of forget that sometimes. I'm like, oh yeah, that's something that comes easier. But I think for me, to be honest, it's just like, I always say I'm a people person.
Yeah.
And like, I really do think that that's something that I don't want to like put everything in that. Like that's not the, you know, I know I'm capable of more, but at the same time, I do think that's a quality of mine that I just, from day one, have realized it is a strength of mine.
Yeah.
You know?
She's got the charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent, okay?
You know? And it's easy to forget in some situations, and it's easy to get the nerves, or to allow the nerves to get the best of you, but it's something that I find myself constantly reminding myself, like, you are good at this, so don't like let the nerves get to you. You know?
So wild. I have never seen you nervous.
Oh my God.
If you're nervous, nobody knows.
Oh my God. Well, I'm glad because, and I think sometimes like, I don't want to say that because I don't want to say that my energy is like a compensation for it. Because I do think generally I am a high energy person, which I also appreciate about myself. But I do think that sometimes that helps.
Yeah.
Because I generally am that bubbly personality as it is, that people don't, that I kind of, it just comes out. Yeah. Even if I'm nervous, and people think it's just, you know, that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do get nervous, and I don't know. But again, that's something I fell back on.
Yeah.
One, my talent and the things I've worked so hard to like, you know, work on, dance, fitness wise, whatever. But yeah. So.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny when you're nervous. You like, I kind of do the same thing. Yeah. Like when I'm nervous, like if we're at like a big party or if we're at like an event or something, and I'm nervous. My natural resting bitch face is a smile.
Oh my God.
Because I'm like, okay, I don't know anybody here, but I'm smiling. So like maybe people like, it like warms people up a little bit more than like a mean mug.
Yes.
So absolutely. I'm just like, I will like paste a smile on my face. And it's so funny. I used to like force it. And now it happens naturally.
Without me
even thinking about it. Yeah. So like I literally would fake it. And now it's a part of who I am. So if I'm nervous, I'm like, smiling.
Oh my gosh.
So like when I go to somebody's like a friend's work event or where I don't know anybody, like my cheeks are sore at the end of the night because I'm like unknowingly just kind of like grinning the whole time.
That's so funny because I'm the same way. Like I don't have a resting bitch face. Like I literally, I am someone who is going to smile at you.
Yeah.
Just because it's like that polite smile, you know? I'm like, and that's just a natural, I don't mean to do it, you know? I'm not doing it to be fake or anything. It's a natural reaction that my body has.
Oh my gosh, good. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed the new segment.
Yeah, a little Q&A. Thank you guys for submitting your questions.
Yes.
And of course, if you guys ever have any other questions, feel free to message us, Instagram, email, whatever it is.
Also, don't forget to check us out on YouTube. Yep. There's a video version of this podcast on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
And feel free to interact with us on social media, Instagram, TikTok. We'd love to hear from you. And if you want to be secretly featured in our next Q&A.
And if you want us to shout your name out, feel free. But if not, we keep it anonymous. So, hey.
Yes. We'll see you next time.
Bye.